Hi, I'm Steve Thomas, and with me is Joe Umasella, who is the president, CEO, and founder of Intex Millwork Solutions. And we're going to show you how to put together a new railing system for stairs called the Liberty Rail System. I've never seen anything like this on the market, Joe.
It's pretty unique. Basically, what's happened here is we've developed a system that racks from 18 to 40 degrees, so it covers every angle range of the stair. The main complaint from the contractors in the field is the complexity of the stairs, and this pretty much takes that away.
It's a cool system. Let's see how it goes together. So the system starts with aluminum reinforcement. That gives you the strength.
Then we move on to a common rail with pre-routed holes to receive the baluster. A baluster that's pre-notched to rake into the stair angle and receive into that hole. Then another common rail for the top end of the top side of the rail, followed by an aluminum reinforcement, and finally a cap to conceal everything.
And you get a hardware kit.
That's right. We have stainless steel brackets, bracket attachment screws attach the bracket to the aluminum, and then your post to bracket attachment screws, your crush block screw, shims that we'll use later in the installation, as well as some extra screws, and a written instruction.
Great. Let's see how it actually goes together. So the foundation is this bottom aluminum reinforcement.
That's right. First you have the aluminum reinforcement. You put on your attachment bracket. Then your common rail goes into place, concealing your aluminum. Your balusters drop in. Your common rail goes on top of that. Your next piece of aluminum drops into place, and then your rail cap goes on to conceal everything.
That is cool.
And it gives you the full angle range.
That is cool. All right, let's install. So the key to a trouble-free installation is to make sure your posts are plumb and to have adequate shims anywhere there's an attachment point. We've got a gate going here, so I've got a shim here, and then I've got a big shim in the front and shims on the side. Then the newel post slides over. This one's nice and snug, and I double check it for plumb. Good. Now it's time to cut our lower common rail, and to do that we like to make a pattern. So we've taken a 1x and ripped it to the same height, same dimension as the lower common rail. We're going to lay it along the stairs. That gives us our angle, and then we're going to trace the angle and the length on the inside of that 1x. All right, the moment of truth. Lay it right in there, see how it does. Actually, this looks good.
Looks good here too.
Looks good here. It looks good all the way up, actually.
Yeah, best to test with a piece of wood. It's a lot less costly than a whole rail kit.
That's for sure. So now we've got the length and the angle, so we want to set the top of the rail. And the way we're going to do that is with a level, and I've marked out 34 inches from the bottom to this pencil mark. And the reason it's 34 inches is that's what code requires, minimum.
Minimum code requirement is 34 inches and maximum is 38 inches in a stair rail application.
So I'm plumb here, so we're 34 inches off the nosing. And we met our mark here, so that's going to be the top of the rail. And we'll double check at the top. We're on our nosing, we're 34 inches, and that's the mark we're looking for right there. 34 inches up, and that's our top. Okay, now we've got our minimum rail height, and that intersects the level of the level rail at 36.5 inches, and that's what we wanted. So we're good there.
You also need to make sure that you meet the 6-inch sphere requirement in the triangular space between the bottom rail, the riser, and tread.
So that means you can't push a 6-inch sphere through this space.
Right.
Now, when in doubt, check with your building inspector, and if you need a permit, pull one. All right, now it's time to determine our baluster spacing, and to do that, we've marked the center on our pattern. And same principle as with the level rail. You've got two choices. You can either center on a baluster. That doesn't work here because down at the bottom and at the top, this baluster would intersect the newel sleeve. Or you can center between the balusters Up at the top you got good spacing. Up at the bottom you got good spacing. So that's the option we're going with. Okay, so we have our layout. We've got our length and we got our angle. So now we can transfer the length to the lower common rail and make our cuts. All right, now the big test. I got the boss standing here too.
Perfect.
Better to be lucky than good.
Yes, sir.
So now that we have the bottom common rail cut, it's time to cut the top common rail. It's got to be cut to the same length, but we have to offset it slightly. And the reason that we have to offset it is that when the system is put together with these little grooves, the balusters get shifted. So that's why you get these little offset spacers in your kit, to shift the upper common rail to the uphill side. So the easiest way to do this is to keep the uphill side on the left, and then everything shifts to the uphill side. So you insert a spacer here, hold it in with a little piece of tape. You insert a spacer on the upstairs side, the uphill side, hold it in with a little piece of tape. Roll the bottom common rail onto its side. Roll the top common rail onto its side. Engage the spacers, and then you shift everything so it's nice and tight to the upstairs side. Then, with a straight edge, you can transfer your dimension from the lower common rail to the upper common rail. And we're ready to cut. So here's another little trick. I made myself a 5/16 inch thick sled or shim, and that helps to keep the common rail flat on the table and square to the fence. Now we test the fit, which is perfect. So now we install the balusters, and there's a trick to that.
Yep, you want your notch facing uphill, so up your rake.
And they should just drop right into place.
Sure. Then you're going to install your top rail, starting on one end. It's good to have an extra pair of hands with,
Sure is.
with stairs. You want to make sure it seats all the way down, and now it's ready to be racked.
All right. Now we begin the installation process. Set the unit in place. And I like to shim it up using just a piece of 1x, so we can establish our final elevation. Shim it up into place. I also like to take a spare piece of rail cap, one on the top, one on the bottom, so we can establish our final elevation. Now, top is right on our marks, and if we mark the bottom of the bottom common rail at the top and at the bottom, now we'll know where to put our aluminum reinforcement, and we can build the system up from there. Okay, now we can cut the top and bottom aluminum reinforcement. We'll just slide it right into the lower common rail here. That's the easiest way to get your measurement. Or not. And this one, we're going to cut 3/8 of an inch shorter to allow for the thickness of the brackets and the projection of the screws. So we install the brackets with these short bracket screws. Put a little bit of soap in the grooves for lubrication, and use a drill for the clutch because you don't want to spin out the screws. All right, now we can put the rail in place. Now we can install the lower aluminum reinforcement, and to do that, we'll use our 3-inch hex head screws. All right, now we need a crush block mid-span. So since this span is over 36 inches, we're required to put a crush block mid-span. So we'll mark the bottom. And then add 9/16. And we can slide it right into place. So we'll slide it into place. It'll be kind of a tight fit, but that's fine. Slide it into place until it seats. And secure it with a crush block screw. All right, now we can drop the whole assembly into place. And the trick here is to have 2 people, because that really helps. Take it slow. And once you engage the lower common rail onto the aluminum reinforcement, and click it into place. So I just want to check to make sure I'm on my mark at the top, and I am. And down the bottom, we're good. Be able to get this out. So this goes in, snaps into place. There we go. Here it snap. Just going to check it once again because I'm a fanatic. We're good. We're good. Let's make our marks. Double check the center. Now we can screw it into place with our 3-inch hex head stainless steel screws. Still on our center, Joe?
Yep.
Last step is to cut the rail cap. And I'm going to cut that just a little bit long because I want a nice snug fit. So we're just going to run a little bead of regular latex caulk on the contact points, and the reason for that.
Try to prevent any movement between the cap and the main body of the rail.
And now, the rail. And you want to sort of press from the top down. Get the snap into place. Nice. Good. All right, one last step. And then we put the caps on, again, just using a dab of latex. The reason is if you ever need to take them off, you can pull them off this way. These just drop right onto the top. Nice. It's a really cool system, Joe.
Thank you. Our goal was to get the labor out of the field and put it in the factory.
Well, you succeeded.
Great. Ready for that martini now.
The dogs like it.
Yeah, they seem to.
Right, girls?